So this beast sitting here beside me, this is the xTool S1 40 watt laser. Let's unbox it, let's assemble it, and let's review it. Come on. All right, this thing is a beast, so let's lie it down, let's lift the laser out of the box. This is the honeycomb that comes with the S1. Very hefty, it's about 1 inch thick. Came with a starter kit. Bunch of goodies in here. These are all the bits and bobs, hardware, screws, and tools that we're gonna need. Here's the exhaust hose. We have a tube for the air assist. Power brick. And this is the laser module. So there's the 40 watt. This is hot swappable with this machine. So they offer 3 modules. They offer the 40, they offer 20, and they even offer an infrared laser as well. This thing is a beast. You can see it compared to my CNC table. This thing is huge. The S1 is such a beautiful machine too. This is a really well thought out design. Once you remove the rear limit pieces, then you can remove the sticker that's reminding you to remove them. This is the locating pin to focus the laser. We'll be installing this next. So, a laser is an indispensable tool in my shop. I've been using lasers for a couple of years now, and I can't imagine having a shop without them. And so I've been upgrading lasers every now and again, and then I stopped. I didn't have a reason to upgrade a laser. I was fine with the ones I had, until I saw the features of the xTool S1. And it's the features that actually made me want it and made me want to upgrade my laser. So first, you can see that this is a fully enclosed laser. So having this all-in-one enclosure is one of the first features that really drew me to the xTool S1. So the xTool S1 does have this exhaust port in the back, and there is a fan here that's basically taking all the smoke from your engraving and your cutting, and it's blowing it out this. So my S1 also came with the honeycomb bed. This is a really nice, thick, about a 1 inch bed, and it's metal. It's metal, meaning you can now use these really cool magnet tab holders that it comes with for work holding. And it's super convenient because the magnet is strong enough to hold down your material while you're actually using the laser. So there are 2 additional features about the S1 that really piqued my interest. These were the ones that I hadn't seen before in other lasers. And one of those features was the ability to laser on curves, or laser on curved objects. So we're not talking about cylindrical, I'm talking about it maps the actual curvature of your material. So this is a guitar channel, I build guitars. So the first thing that came to mind were the contours of a guitar, the arm carve, the belly carve. So what it does is it actually has a locator pin, and it finds the actual Z axis, right, the Z point. But then it maps out several others on the curve, so it knows the height, and it makes a profile map of your actual curves. And so when it's actually engraving or cutting, it can actually compensate and ensure that you're getting that perfect focus on those curved parts of your material. So the next big thing about the S1 that really piqued my interest was this idea of the pass-through technology. So with the installed riser bed and the conveyor system, you can feed through your material and it passes through like a conveyor belt. And you can go as long as 9.8 feet. The laser technology is just progressing exponentially, and it's really cool to see a company encapsulate all these brand new features in one machine. So we're going to test some engraving and cutting, and I have some really pretty 6mm walnut. So we're going to put this into the S1. We're going to cut and engrave, and we're going to make a guitar stand. Let's do it. So setting the autofocus for the laser is super easy. I love the crosshairs. I just put the crosshairs over the material, and then I hit the button on the software. Locator pin locates, then retracts, and then goes back to its original location. That's killer. So the next thing is marking. So it's determining basically the stock. And what I do is go to start marking, choose rectangle. And what we want to do is give it 2 points. That's all it needs for a rectangle. So I move my crosshairs. And then I set the button, beeps, and then I move it down to the other corner. Use the crosshairs and then hit the button, and I'm done. Right there. And it knows my location now. So you got to close the lid. This is one of the safety features. It won't run the lid open. And then I'll hit process, start. I'll make sure my air assist is on max. And then I can push the button to start the job. Easy peasy. Like, so easy. I'm done lasering all the components for the guitar stand, and it came out really awesome. So I have the walnut here. These are 6mm pieces, and I did 2 and glued them together. And then this is the basswood, which is around 3mm. So I'm going to laminate all of them together, and we should get a really good strength and rigidity for a guitar stand. So on the walnut pieces, there's going to be essentially the basswood glued on to this section here. So this is going to be sort of the star of the show. But because this is a cross-section guitar stand, what I did was I engraved the other side. This is the underside of the guitar stand. And so instead of just having it sort of a plain walnut, I gave it a nice light scoring. Thing is pretty slick. So I am going to sand the edges. So I'm going to grab my detail sander and we're just going to go all the way around to smooth everything out. This side came out really well, but there were some scorch marks on this side. Just because I lasered it in reverse. So my error. But we're going to just do a light sanding on here, and then we're going to seal the whole thing. came out really cool. And obviously you can stain the basswood any color you like to really contrast with the darker wood, or you can use a lighter wood and then a darker wood as the detail. It's really up to you. But it just came out really well. And so I can also disassemble this if I want to, but it is a nice friction fit. And all we gotta do is do sanding, which is not really fun, but we gotta do it. This is so cool because you can actually see the laser module going up and down along with the curve of the guitar neck. So once it's mapped out the curve, it appropriately adjusts the Z-axis to get the perfect autofocus. So you can see it just going up and down with the curve. Pretty brilliant. So this is my test on the curved engraving, and it came out pretty darn awesome. So the curved engraving came out excellent. Couldn't be happier. It was just a test. I'm testing on this old neck. It's got a skunk stripe, so it's not ideal, but it was just a test. More coating was a little difficult, but I managed to just kind of tape everything down. And I slapped this vector together. So this vector is not very clean. There's some open leaves, and open flowers, and some like extra bits, but I'm gonna clean this up, make sure it's all nice so that when we do this on a brand new neck without the skunk stripe, it looks killer. So this is a quick prototype on cardboard. This is literally the cardboard that came with the xTool manual. And I just want to make sure everything's perfect on cardboard before we do it in wood. All right, so this is the prototype that we cut out of cardboard, and everything was fine. I had to make the bridge spacing just a little bit bigger, so I correct for that, which is why we prototype on the cardboard. And now we're about to cut onto the wood. Let's go ahead and do it. Super fast. This is not sped up or anything. And you can see the level of detail this is able to do, and very quickly. So this is going to be sort of a decorative top for the ukulele. So I did get a ukulele kit, and my first idea was to actually engrave the top. And I thought, well, everybody can engrave things. That's really easy. Why don't I do some cutouts? So I made this cutout, and it's really lovely. So the only thing I had to do was compensate for the sound hole and the bridge. Now what I did was I actually did a prototype on cardboard so that I can actually measure everything so that I could determine whether the bridge was going to fit. Now the neck would go here, and what I didn't compensate for was the extension of the fretboard. So the fretboard will come out and extend about 20 millimeters. So instead of having to like design this and then do the cutout for it, all I'm going to do is just use a scalpel and cut out that section there, because this wood is actually really easy to cut. So it's much easier for me to scalpel that out than to design the fretboard and then do that into the software. Now obviously you can kind of stain these tops if you wanted to get a contrast, but for this demonstration I'm just kind of demonstrating what you can do with the laser. So what I noticed after I lifted the actual piece off the bed was all the positive cutouts looked really cool. So what I did was, while they were on the bed, I taped them. So I used masking tape to hold them in place to the stock. And now I have these really lovely pieces that I can use for all sorts of things. So they're already gorgeously laid out and arranged, and all I have to do is kind of take these and glue them somewhere so I can get sort of like a dimensioned top if I wanted to. So even something like this, where you take the positive pieces and you glue them to a top would look really sick. So a lot of cool ideas you can do with the scraps or the cutoffs. And of course, even doing things as far as staining these or staining the pieces. Like there's so many options. But for this experiment and this project, I'm just stopping here. So what I'm going to do next is just simply glue this top on and assemble the ukulele. So this is a good stopping point for this video. I have a ton of other projects I want to do. I just got in my brand new telly body and telly neck. So we're going to be engraving that entire thing on this machine. I actually tested it. You can fit an entire telly body in here. So we're going to engrave the entire top, and we're also going to engrave the back of the neck. So we're going to do that in the next video. But for now, I think this is a really good stopping point. This laser is killer. I love the enclosure. I love all the safety features with all the fire sensors as well. And of course, the idea of the hot swappable laser is really cool because I never thought I'd be interested in an infrared module. But now that I know I can etch and engrave on metal, it's something I want to do. So watch out for those videos. They're coming soon. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Thank you.